Our Simple Line Drawing to Relieve Stress series continues today with a jigsaw puzzle. Today we're going to draw a 1,000 plus piece jigsaw puzzle. And I decided rather than going line by line, I would draw it in the way that I would truly assemble a jigsaw puzzle. Now I know most people have their own way of doing this, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but first let's talk about how this is being drawn. I'm using dot grid paper. You could use graph paper, you could really use a piece of notebook paper, but it'd probably be easier if you had something to mark off parallel shapes. So all it is, each side of a jigsaw puzzle is a straight line with a bump out or a bump in, and you just mix them up. So it's really easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of thought. In fact, it was kind of fun watching this come together. You know, I was pretending my style of assembling jigsaw puzzles is to get out all the edge pieces first and the corners and get that assembled and then go to the center. And I'll tell you, it was actually very stressful for me the first time I shared a jigsaw puzzle with someone who worked differently and just maybe went for a color first and wasn't concerned with the border of the puzzle. You know, until that time I didn't even think there was another way to do it. So it's interesting how your mind can get set on doing things a certain way and not even realize there are other options. So it's nice to keep an open mind, and now I can work them either way, but I still tend to go towards doing the borders first. So I pretended like once I would get a border done, then you might pick a color or a shape and go work that. And I also like to do jigsaw puzzles with my family. We get them out in the winter time to work together, and I do them with my mother as well when I visit her. We call those little groups of pieces together out in the middle, we call those floaters, and it's a big deal to try to get those hooked to the main puzzle so you're sure of their location. So this is one of those things where you don't necessarily need to sit down and do it all at once. You could do a few pieces or lines or groups of shapes and then come back to it. It's kind of a good doodle page that's ongoing and can last you for a while if you desire. So how do you do your jigsaw puzzles? Do you do the border first, or do you start somewhere in the middle? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if you're also able to puzzle with others who may have a different style from you. If you're enjoying this, I sure would appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. And if you're not a regular subscriber already, consider signing up. I do art time-lapse videos of all sorts a few times a week, and I'd love to have you. Another thing that's up for debate is what style jigsaw puzzle do you like the best? I know when I puzzle with my mom, her favorite types of puzzles are scenes, usually kind of pastoral scenes. There'll be flowers and often a church or an old store, something like that. I tend to go for collage puzzles a lot. I like collections of things. I think the most recent one we did was a puzzle that was a bunch of Lego minifigures, and we've done them with superheroes and one with Pixar movie characters too. So there's lots of good options out there for puzzles. Another thing we used to do, and my mom told me about doing this too, is someone would decide to hide a piece of the puzzle so that they could have the honor of putting the last piece in. We always thought that was a fun thing to do too. Now there's a couple of things coming up on your screen. There's a video on the left and a playlist on the right that I think you would enjoy. I hope you'll check them out, and thanks so much for joining me today.